Hi, this is Trevor, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, January the 11th, 2016. This is the first real official video of 2016, and I thought I would comment a little bit today on sometimes how I receive messages. You know, people think that when you're a reader, maybe you're like people on TV shows or in movies that you're walking around getting impressions all the time. Well, sometimes, I think especially early on in working with this, that can seem to be the case. Oftentimes when people are learning to work with this ability or are developing it, there can seem to be a lot of signals that we're getting left and right. But I think over time, for myself and for a number of my friends and colleagues, reading kind of settles into a place where we're able to work with it as a resource, but it's not the only thing that we listen to. Sometimes one of the most important things I've got to listen to is my conscience, or sometimes literally gut instinct. What's the physical health? What's the physical body saying? And I oftentimes do get messages and directions from sometimes what seems like the most unlikely sources. Some of my friends maybe don't consider themselves to be intuitives or psychics or empaths, but they'll sometimes give me a suggestion out of the blue. And then what's interesting is that somewhere along the line, within a week or so, somebody else totally unrelated will give me the same kind of suggestion. When it was time last year for me to move, for instance, I had had a friend for years telling me to look at the building that I'm now located in. And I had my own kind of ideas of what would work and what couldn't. And I had my own sort of insecurities about what was available. Those are all things that can influence perception. Well, it was round about that time that another friend of mine said, let's go out for a drive. Let's look for, a place that feels right for you. And he pulled up by this building and he said, go look at that place. I could just get a feeling that that would really be right for you. And I said, oh, I've been given that suggestion before. I don't know. I'm not sure. Again, I had my own sort of uncertainties and insecurities. Well, when I went and looked, lo and behold, there was no sign on the building saying for rent, but it turned out that the property managers were people that I had dealt with in the past. And when I called them up, they recognized who I was, and here was this place that was actually kind of going through some transition, and it was a matter of calling at the right time. Sometimes those coincidences can play out in a very powerful way. It just seems like this is where I was meant to be. But it partly involved having to listen to some suggestions. When I called up my first friend and told her about it, she said, I could have saved you a lot of time. Why didn't you listen to me years ago? And these things work out when they work out. Sometimes I'll have something out of the blue reference a book or an author, and it'll kind of sit with me. And then again, something will come up a little while later where there it is. Or I'll be in a bookstore and right in front of me is the very thing that I'm looking for. So I think part of what we develop isn't so much the ability to be guessing what all the answers are, but to be interested and curious as to what the questions are. I had a very dear friend who's now an angel, I think, watching over us, named Ethel. And Ethel was a spiritualist, and she'd oftentimes just get a nudge. She'd just get a feeling, and she had a beautiful way of just following up on that. Some of my friends, especially the ones who are just starting out in terms of readings, will make a big production out of getting something. They'll go, I just had a feeling I had to call you. What's wrong? Sometimes nothing's wrong, but there is when they take that approach. But Ethel would just call and say, I just had a leading that I should call you today. And usually it was right at the right time and the right moment. So I get my messages and my nudges from pretty ordinary things. It's a matter of listening and paying attention, and that energy just seems to kind of find its mark. So I'm wishing everyone a great week and looking forward to sharing more with you in the future. Here's to a great new start to the new year. If you're looking for information about how to book an appointment with me, you'll find that on my website. I always include the link below these videos. Take care and see you again soon.